Does God speak today? Welcome back to Marizo TV. Please help us grow and spread the message. Like this video, share with your friends, subscribe to the page, and turn on notifications so that you get instant updates when a new video is put up. Today we are looking at a critical message that does God still speak today? Remember two key things: that God is a unity. That means He's one being, three persons. Because there are three persons in the Godhead, there is constant communication. There is a constant communication. The Father is continuously communicating with the Son and the Spirit. We see in 1 John 1, verse 3 says, "We proclaim to you what we have seen and heard, so that you may also have fellowship with us. And our fellowship is with the Father, with His Son, Jesus Christ." We write this to make our joy complete. In the same way we saw that in John 17, Jesus prayed that the church be one as He and the Father are one. So that means in unity, there is constant fellowship. There's koinonia. There's a revelations of heart, intention, purposes, and sometimes just an adoration of one another. And because we were made in the image and likeness of God, a lot of these things are reflected in our nature as well. So yes, God still speaks today. In the same way He speaks to the Son and speaks to the Spirit, because we are in His image and His likeness, He communicates with us as well. And we should with Him, as we learned in the episode on prayer. But we should tread carefully. When we say God speaks, it's not about new information all of the time. Sometimes it's just a revelation of His will, His existing will, a reminder to us of what it intends and demands from us. And more often than not, His revelation to us is to comfort us in our sojourn on the earth. We are faced with many oppositions, many struggles. Sometimes we grow doubt in our heart. So God constantly speaks to us to strengthen us, to comfort us, so that we don't give up in this journey of life. God also speaks, giving us specific instructions for our progression in life, or something that will keep us safe. He also speaks with His word, reminding us of the things He has spoken and confirming the instructions He has given to us. So yes, God still speaks. It is consistent with His nature as the Godhead. It is consistent with our nature as being in the image and likeness of God. But also, I want to focus on the importance of God speaking, especially with regards to our obedience. Remember that by one man's disobedience, sin came into the world. And by another man, Jesus Christ's obedience, righteousness, grace, salvation came into the world. So our obedience is key in the story God is telling. By our obedience, we open a channel of blessings to ourselves and to many more people that God has put along our path of life. So obedience is not just tied to us, it's an eternal thread that if we follow, we will experience everything that God has desired for us. Considering that the entire purpose of humanity is to illustrate and demonstrate the nature of God, obedience ensures that we tell this story accurately without any compromise. Our obedience is a witness to God's message to the earth, is a witness to the consistency and integrity of God's message to all of nature, all of humanity. But when we disobey, we put a dent in this message. We make it inaudible. We make it illegible. We make it hard to understand because of the inconsistencies. So our obedience is really critical. Apostle Paul describes us as living epistles, epistles that God has written to our generation. They were epistles to their generation. We are epistles to our generation. Our children are epistles to their own generation. And so obedience ensures that we are telling the right story. It ensures that we are passing the right message. There are several ways that God speaks to us, and I'm not going to go over those again. I have a video I'm going to link in the description. It's called Manifold Encounters. It's the story around everybody involved in the Christmas story or in the birth of Jesus and how God spoke to each one. To Mary by angelic encounters and a quickening of scriptures, to Joseph by dreams, to Elizabeth by signs and wonders, and by inspirational proclamation, and on, to the wise men by elements in nature and the things in their field of expertise. We can go on and on. So please take a look at that video to learn how God speaks to us and the different ways he speaks to us. This is just to drive home the point that yes, God speaks, and yes, obedience is important to ensure that we are epistles telling the right stories at the right time to the right generation with the right words or the right actions. God bless you.